to Oops, All Apocalypses, a show where we explore the collapse of society by playing fun tabletop role-playing games. I'm your host, Stu Masterson, and I'm joined by 2 consecutive Mountain Dew Voodoo mystery flavors.
Oh, shoot. I want to be the candy apple flavor they made a couple years back.
Gross.
That was an amazing flavor.
Blue raspberry. I don't know if that's
not a voodoo flavor. You can be the candy corn flavor they had last in 2020.
Absolutely not.
It was awful.
I don't like to get political on this podcast, but candy corn is an abomination.
I 100% agree.
I like candy corn and Swedish Fish.
I do love Swedish fish.
I feel like they are in a similar category of candies that are just one thing.
Fish?
No. Like the candy, it's like the candy corn has different colors, but it's just one contiguous sugar triangle. And then Swedish Fish are also just one contiguous sugar fish.
But it has some fake flavor added to it, right?
Yeah, there's fake flavors in it. So I will say I actually don't enjoy Swedish Fish, but I really like them because they're one of the few candies you can eat 800 of back to back.
Oh, yeah, easily.
And you're okay. Like you try that with like even Starbursts or Skittles, you're eventually going to just crash or die or something like that. But Swedish Fish, you can just keep going.
Give me a blue voodoo flavor for Mountain Dew.
I think it's always the nebulous white because
vaguely semen colored is normally how I like.
Yeah, it's because they're trying to make you figure out what it is.
So which flavor are you, Jacob?
They had a candy apple flavor, and
give me one I can be that's not despicable.
There's an Airhead one, I think.
Sure.
That was pretty
that
good.
That would be pretty good.
I'm a dumb.
Have you tried this year's Mountain Dew Voodoo? Because I have
not a fan. I don't know what it is.
I haven't tried it yet.
Confuses me, but I don't like it. I know that.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's Airhead Brad here. And I play Book McCready, the kooky, crazy piece of shit who is trying to investigate the crimes of Hickory Fleek and also convict him of those crimes, which is a challenge. Don't get me wrong. But he's just so clearly, obviously guilty that I don't know. It's fine. Anyway, over to you, Jacob.
And I am Candy Apple Jacob, and I play Ocean, a gentle giant who's just along for the ride on this one. You don't know nothing about law.
I've been trying to picture how you're going to behave in a courtroom, so that'll be fun.
We'll find out. I think mostly just awkward and uncomfortable and shuffling around a lot. I imagine he's wearing like an unfitting suit. Like a
don't
suit
spoil
that's
the
just,
episode yet.
Okay, that's
we'll
true.
Start with that.
Okay. I'll take that back. You guys will have to listen a little longer to figure out what Ocean's wearing to court.
Oh, hell yeah.
Everyone listen closely.
I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to our listener, JP, who shot us an email a couple weeks back. And we had a really good conversation about Australian media. So, hey, JP, thanks for listening. Yeah. And if anybody else wants to hear about my opinions on Australian comedy, please shoot us an email.
Yeah, we're all Bluey fans now.
I love
Big Bluey fans,
but not as much as I love Auntie Donna and the Weekly Planet podcast.
I still haven't seen that besides that one clip you showed me.
Dude,
that was a really good clip.
Jambalam, classic. Bikey Wars, classic. Pud. Do you even know Pud, Jacob?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fucking rube. Anyway, do we have any? No, we have to do the thing. We have to do BuzzFeed presents Apocalypse.
You do a shout out for a fan in one of our worst intros. Jeez.
I think this has been very high energy and fun. You take that back, sir.
It's been a pretty good intro.
If anybody's had bad energy, it's you.
I never have bad energy. That is a canonic fact. I always have better energy.
You're coming in here saying you're green apple all sour and shit. Nobody likes green apple.
I said candy apple. Thank you very much.
Oh, you did.
Candy
That's worse.
Apple.
Oh God.
I love candy apples.
I'm not a caramel guy.
I can eat my weight in caramel apples. Oh, I love them.
Flavors that hurt you. So like sour and spicy.
So a candy apple that breaks your teeth if you bite into one.
The caramel apples are...
See, there's caramel apples and then there's candy apples. They're two separate things.
What is the difference?
Candy apples are apples coated in like a hard candy.
Oh.
And it will break your teeth if you try and eat one.
Genuinely, I don't think I've ever had a candy apple. I've only ever had caramel apples.
They're not as popular. They used to be big.
Because they're bad.
They're bad for you. But it's like just covered in like a brown or like a red sugar. I don't even know if they're flavored besides just like sweet.
I know what you're talking about now. Like I can picture it in my head, but I've never tasted one. All right, guys. This week's BuzzFeed presents Apocalypse. If you were holed up in a blizzard in a old Western saloon, what bottle would you wish was still behind the counter? And secondary question, what game would you be playing at the table for money, for stakes? My bottle behind the counter. It would be something I would want it to last a long time, so it'd have to be pretty strong.
Remember, this is Book's bottle behind the counter.
Oh, God damn it. I always fall for this. Always. Oh my God. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Well, Book does canonically like whiskey, but he's only had Apocalypse whiskey.
Hey, it doesn't necessarily have to be a whiskey that he's had. It's just what kind of whiskey you think Book would like the most.
I think it would be a giant handle of larceny. That would be the bottle Book would go for. And the game at the table, I think Book would be good at reading people, but I think he would have a bad poker face, which is just me now. We're just talking about me again. So I think we're going to put him in for Rummy 500 is the game they'd be playing at the table.
Rummy 500.
And little known fact, I'm phenomenal at Rummy 500.
I have never even heard of Rummy 500.
It's a great game. It's not really a game that you would play for like money normally. You can. But it's more or less I can't explain Rummy 500 to you. It's too complicated. That and what's the other card game I'm good at, Stu?
I've never seen you be good at anything in your
Played
life.
it on a submarine. It's called shit.
Uno.
No, I'm terrible at Uno.
Egyptian rat screw.
I love Egyptian rat screw.
The ones with the board and the pins.
Cracker Barrel game.
No. It's cards, but you track your progress on a board with pins.
Cribbage.
I love cribbage. I'm good
These
at
are
cribbage
like
too.
grandma games, not cowboy games.
No, cribbage is definitely a cowboy game, dude. They play it on submarines.
Okay, I left while you were thanking one of our listeners for writing in.
So the BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse is if you were stuck in an old Western saloon in a blizzard, what bottle would you most like to find behind the counter, and what card game would you like to be playing at the table?
Pig pinochle, next question.
Oh, God. See, Ocean hasn't even getting his answer yet. You just jump straight into it.
I feel like Stu needs to give a real and better answer than that.
Definitely. So for Ocean, I don't see Ocean being a strong liquor guy. I think that's something we've kind of established in the podcast a few times, is that he doesn't really drink a lot. But I do see him liking like a bourbon barrel aged stout. I can see that being a kind of drink he would like a lot.
He only gets one bottle though.
For the bourbon barrel aged stouts, sometimes those come in like big ones because you're meant to like put them in a shelf and scave it like wine. So maybe, I don't know. I think that's what he would go for. As for the card game, I think Ocean would be good at blackjack. I think he's got a very good poker face. And I think he's very good at risk and reward. So I think blackjack would kind of be his shtick for playing money.
Nice. I
also think he'd be
could
great at
see
Uno. So
Uno, that's good. I could see Ocean just palming a bottle of triple sec straight from the bottle.
That's disgusting.
I think that'd be
It's the
too
grossest
sweet for
thing I've ever
Ocean.
heard.
I don't think
Real
Ocean's
talk.
much for a sweet liquor guy.
One of my best friends has drank straight triple sec and he loved it.
That's
He loved the syrupy
foul.
texture. He loved how sweet it was.
That sounds so gross.
I will never let him forget it.
Give me a triple sec on the rocks.
Somebody made fun of me for having Bailey's on the rocks once.
Yeah, I get why they made fun of you.
That's a very normal.
It's one that most people mix with, though. That's not something that you just usually just drink straight.
You don't have. Yeah, absolutely, you would. Yeah,
If I was a drunkard
that's
baby,
a classic dessert. Like a mudslide is basically it's what Kahlua, vodka, and Bailey's.
Yeah, but it's mixed.
Those
right?
those are all just the same thing basically, except for the vodka. Like Kahlua and Bailey's are more or less like the point
yeah,
is.
but that's, the whole point is the vodka part. We're like, hey, you mix it with alcohol, and you're
but
like,
as for
no.
a
Here's this
dessert-
drink where you mix it.
a dessert sipper when you're not trying to get hammered. Like Bailey's is a classic. You drink it on the rocks. It's a very normal thing.
Yeah.
You guys just aren't cultured.
Sometimes
like
I just don't want chocolate milk and I just want chocolate syrup. So I just ask for a glass of chocolate syrup and I
this
don't
is
mix it with the
why
milk.
I think Ocean would drink triple sec straight.
Oh, God.
Bailey's would be the milk in that situation, just to be clear, not the chocolate syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
You drink milk straight, pal.
You do,
I hate
yeah.
to break it to you.
Well, I'm not to be a stickler, but you shouldn't.
I don't anymore, but I did. As a youngin, as a youth.
I still drink milk. I'll be honest. I like it.
I love milk.
No humans should have milk.
What about cereal, though, Stu?
Cereal, you can have milk. That's the acceptable reason. But you also probably shouldn't be eating cereal, honestly.
Absolutely not. But
I will eat my weight in cereal. I'm sorry.
Dude, give me my Cinnamon Toast Crunch, my Frosted Flakes, my Cookie Crisp.
That's going to be my next question. You guys hear it now. Cool. My next question is going to be cereal related because I think that would be fun.
I'll hold off on all my opinions I was about to just give.
All right, Stu, you got to give us the real answer. What bottle, what game?
Is it what do I hope to find or what I'd be most happy finding?
Both.
I'm not giving you both those things.
How are they not the same?
Well, happiness is a complicated subject, Brady. But
fine, then what would you hope to find and to play?
I would hope that as I reach back there, I would pull out a Mad Dog 2020 blue flavor because I only have one bottle and that's going to be a perfect amount that saves me good $2 cowboy dollars.
Oh, God.
And it's refreshing.
Okay.
And the best part, no one else will try to steal my drink.
No,
right?
no one would.
That is true.
If you're wearing cowboy times, I assume, there's a good chance you're like, oh, I found this delicious Jim Beam back here. And then someone shoots you and takes it, you know? I pull out my Mad Dog 2020 and they're like, that looks like an unhealthy witch's brew. don't get that near me.
Because it is. It's because it is.
For card games, I'm a big fan of mini card games. There are probably some funnier answers I could give here, like some sort of exploding kittens type thing, or fiasco would be really good. But I think I would go with 7-card stud because I like it.
I've never played that. Sounds fun.
It's good because you get a lot of cards, so you get fun hands. Which is more interesting than bad games where you don't get many cards, so you get bad hands.
That is more interesting.
So it's just more interesting. Okay, I can see your logic here.
And the games last longer. I don't like fast rounds of poker. When I used to play poker a lot, I'm a huge poker fan. I would like to play with many shifting games. I never liked when like everyone just wanted to sit around and play like Texas Hold'em and nothing else. I always like switching through a few different types of poker as you go along through the night, and I would always make everyone else play 7-card stud and try to drive them crazy.
I'll be honest. I still have barely got my grasp on how to play poker.
You should learn. It's an important skill set.
And I feel like it is. I feel like it really is.
Last time I was betrayed by Brady/Book, and we didn't actually get to do a courtroom drama episode. I think we should hurry back up into that action right now.
I think the flashback resolves and we appear. Book just finished the first sentence or whatever of his opening argument, and we'll just jump right back in. I gotta get my Foghorn Leghorn voice going again. Hold on.
I see.
Back in the early days of Hamlet opening, we relied on the strong leadership to guide us and to grow us into the community that we are today. But as that community has grown, so has the greed and avarice of our leader, Hickory Fleek. As a result of this greed and avarice, Hickory has committed the following crimes. We hereby charge him with wrongful seizure of goods and services scavenged by the hardworking men and women of our community, fraud in the allocation and use of those goods seized by Hickory Fleek, embezzlement of those same goods to further his own ends, and as a result, misappropriation of funds, namely the batteries by which we run our economy. We also charge Hickory Fleek with taxation without representation. In addition, Hickory Fleek has engaged in anti-competitive behavior by tampering and effectively removing any additional power sources that might exist in our community. And finally, the big three. We hereby charge Hickory Fleek with conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree murder of Kibble's son, and treason in the highest degree. And
gasps around the room.
Yeah, and then Book walks back to his seat and sits down and nudges Ocean, and he's like, "Go say some shit."
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Say some shit.
Just follow your heart.
I agree.
Just whatever's inside there.
I also, Ocean, hereby say that he's a piece of shit.
Okay. All right. He stands up and walks in front. I mentioned it briefly, but I think Ocean is wearing an ill-fitting suit right now. And not only is he wearing an ill-fitting suit, but it is that tan corduroy, like a tan corduroy suit.
Wonderful.
Horrific.
How sweaty are you?
He's pretty sweaty. He's pretty nervous. He's sweating a little bit. He wipes it off as he sets up. And he's like, "Oh, my name's Ocean. I think you guys all know me. Hi." And he waves at the crowd. Just dead silent.
Some people wave back.
Dead silence. And then he looks around and is like, "I'm not one for making long, drawn out statements, but I think really everything I have to say just kind of boils down to the fact that I think we all know and that Hickory's just not fit to rule. He's not fit to be in charge. He's been a poor leader for us all and a poor leader for you. I think we deserve better." And that's really all I have to say. And he looks down and sits down.
Hushed silence over the crowd. You look over and you see Frida stand up, and she walks to the middle of the room, and she's walking with purpose and focus. And Frida turns toward the triumvirate of judges, and she says, "All of you know that Hickory Fleek has kept this town safe and secure for much longer than the prosecution has even been around. And I'm going to prove quite clearly that any of the charges that they've levied against him were outside of the scope of his official acts.
God fucking damn it.
And that he has only been trying to keep this town safe and secure. I look forward to hearing whatever sorts of charges are being levied, but I think we have a misled prosecution, and I'm going to prove that Hickory is still a valuable member of this community." And she says,
"How dare she?"
Gentlemen of the tribunal, we would first like to submit into evidence 1,286 hours of tapes made by Johnny Hertz documenting the relative crimes of Hickory Fleek against this community." And then I bring up, there's a red wagon, like a little like red wagon, just stacked like 4.5 feet high with tapes and bungee cords. And I just wheel that in front of the 3 judges, and I leave it in the middle.
Captain Noodle stands up and looks at it, and he picks up one of the tapes and like reads it, turns it around, opens the little flap, and then kind of nods his head and he goes, "Yep, these are tapes." And he takes the seat back down.
Thank you, Your Honor. And secondly, we'd like to call to the stand our first witness, Buckets.
Buckets was already in the crowd, and he kind of stands up and awkwardly shuffles his way to the front and then goes into the witness stand and has a seat. And then Captain Noodles turns to him and says, "You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth." And he's like, yeah.
So help you, Maelstrom.
Do we even worship the Maelstrom? That was something we were all kind of afraid of.
No, but we're afraid of it. That's why, so help you, Maelstrom.
Okay. So Ocean stands up and, So Ocean stands up and walks over to the witness, the podium that the lawyer stands at. And he says, "Can you please introduce yourself for the purposes of the court?"
"Hello, everybody. I am Buckets, and I'm one of the most prolific scroungers in Hamlet opening. I'm happy to be here. Thank you."
"All right, Buckets. Can you tell me a little bit about the type of work that you do?"
"Yeah, I normally go down into like Subtropolis and try to find some things that are going to be useful for us and bring them back here, and trying to keep living happy life, get enough, be able to sit on my stoop every night, just relax for a little bit."
"And how long have you been doing all this scrounging?"
I've been scrounging since I was, I think, 48 weeks old.
It seems awfully long to start scrounging.
Yeah.
Dad must be proud of you.
I got in early. Oh, yeah. He always was like, "Little Buckets, you can fit in any of those small little areas so well. You can get all those good things, your little tiny hands. You can find that, pop that spark plug right out of there." Oh, man.
Can you just tell me a few of the things that you've brought back for Hamlet opening and some of the things you provided to this town, just to kind of establish your character here as a prolific scrounger?
Oh, yeah. I think some of my biggest hauls, I found all of those incandescent light bulbs that one time. That was hard to get back without breaking, but I was able to get them pretty safely. One time I was the one, a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually the one who found all those frozen but unfrozen pizzas in that broken down fridge. That was a good month.
That kept us fed for a long while.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. we enjoyed that together as a community.
We shit so much, but we loved every second of it.
It was worth it. Every bite, man, the Supreme, so good.
So tell me a little bit about your practice of scrounging when you first started. How was the division of your supplies handled?
Well, back when I was a youngin' and I was going with my family, we kept whatever we found, right? We would just get it and we would bring it back to our camp and we would be okay. Then when I came to Hamlet opening, for a while it was okay there. It was very similar. At least I got a place over my head that didn't move or blow away. But after that, I've been able to keep less and less.
And why haven't you been able to keep as much as you previously scrounged?
The biggest reason is Hickory Fleek's taxes. You know, he's taken just more and more of whatever we bring back, about half usually. Whatever we get, he takes. And I'm fine helping the community. Like I was the first one to share those pizzas with everyone, right? But it seems like too much. And I'm worried about our sustainability as a society because like I'm prolific enough that I'll be okay. I'll struggle, but I'll be okay. But there's a lot of people not as good as me. They don't have my small wrists.
For Hickory's taxes, have they always been the same? Has he always taxed you most of what you take?
No, it's gotten worse. Well, it used to be okay. I kind of understood it, but now it's been worse. Basically, year over year, it's gotten worse, and was the worst this year. Last 6 months he's taken more than ever before.
Tell me about what would happen if you brought back supplies and it seemed like Hickory wasn't satisfied with what you brought.
Now, that didn't happen to me because I'm very prolific in my scrounging, as I've said. But I do know some others who have had to pedal it off when they're not keeping up the output.
And what about the laws that existed on the types of goods that he could confiscate? Did you ever have to deal with that?
Honestly, there wasn't no rhyme or reason to it that I could follow. He would just take whatever he wanted. And also the amounts that when some of my good friends were saying that they didn't have enough, there's no reason. There wasn't a chart. There wasn't a spreadsheet that he had little check boxes that said, yep, you brought the right amount back. It just seemed almost random.
Tell me about the laws regarding coming and going from Hamlet opening.
There's not much. There's certainly nothing official, I don't think. I think whoever wants can go leave and scrounge up whatever they can and come back.
Have you ever had instances with curfews?
I have not, but I've heard some people get in trouble for breaking curfews when they don't bring enough stuff back. And that's something that also confuses me. We don't seem to have a good written citral repository for laws, right? Like, I want to know what I'm allowed to do and what not allowed to do, even if I disagree with it. And that certainly seems to be missing. And people are just applying them willy-nilly.
And with all the goods that have been taken from you, all the taxation that's brought on, have you seen it used to better the community?
No, it seems to just go into a black hole. Don't know where it goes.
Wait, can I jump in?
Tag team rolls, you gotta slap his hand.
Okay. I like that. We have tag team. Okay. I'm going to tag out with my partner here, Book McCready.
No, you don't have to tag out. I had an idea for how to kind of set up that question.
Okay. Lay it on. If you have
Well, he can come back. You're allowed to do like one group move, I think, in a tag team match.
Yeah.
It's similar to the rules of Hamlet opening where the rules aren't very concrete. You know, sometimes Kane just comes in from the top rope, even though he hasn't been tagged in.
And they're in the ring for way longer than what you think should be allowed.
Yes.
But
Buckets, you said that Hickory has been taxing you more and more as time has gone on. Is that correct?
Affirmative.
Do you feel that Hickory has provided more as he has taxed more?
To me, it's been the same or worse.
Interesting. Would you say, given that Hickory has been taxing more, have you ever even seen goods that you surrendered over to Hickory be used to better the community?
I have not directly seen that, no, sir.
I wonder where those goods have gone.
I'm not sure. Is that a question?
No, that was just more of a rhetorical statement. You can strike that from the record. Buckets, my last question for you. Have you ever seen Hickory use his taxed goods to assist those who are struggling in the community?
Well, I don't know exactly how it works, but we do have a lot of people here who are like infirmed and can't scrounge themselves or don't have really clear jobs, or people like, not to speak ill of the court, but like Maple, who's not necessarily getting new stuff, but provides very useful services we all lack here. He really helped me when I got scraped up real bad by some rust. But I don't know where they get their money from. Like, I get my money from where I go and do it, you know? I go get it out there. And these other people, I don't know how they're eating and such. So I maybe he's paying them some. I don't know.
Buckets, have you ever paid for goods and services in the form of batteries to another individual?
Yeah. Yep. I've done that.
When you've needed sutures from Maple, did you provide batteries in exchange for those services?
Yes, exactly.
Have you ever encountered someone who was unable to pay for goods that they needed?
Yeah, all the time.
What did Hickory make them do to pay for those goods?
I think that would normally be peddling it off, but I know some people can't pedal on account of their like one leg or something like that. So I don't know what they do, but they are still around.
Would you say that Hickory has been forcing individuals who aren't able to provide them for themselves to serve as a slave labor force of some sort in order to give just a
objection, speculation? The witness has no idea what he's forcing or what the complications of slave labor are.
Fine, I will rephrase. Buckets, were these individuals ever given batteries in exchange for the peddling that they did?
I'm actually not sure. I don't know if they directly got batteries or they just got what they needed.
The prosecution rests.
Damn, that wasn't a slam dunk as I hoped it would be.
It really wasn't. Come on, Stu, what the fuck was that? They didn't get batteries for peddling.
Don't get mad at me, get mad at Bucket.
Oh, before we rest, Ocean
the
comes up.
prosecution does not rest.
You were quick enough this time.
Yeah, Ocean hands out his team. He's like, oh, tag me in. I tag it. Tags in. Ocean comes up.
Everyone gets one ancillary tag in.
We're just making up rules now.
So you're saying this is a legal tag, Your Honor?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. Ocean pops up and says, Buckets, have you ever been forced to peddle off any debts in the past?
I have not, but I do have direct. I know many people who have.
And the people that you know who have they ever received any compensation?
No, it's mostly been punitive.
The prosecution rests.
For real this time.
No tags, Your Honor.
Frida stands up and she walks over to Buckets and kind of leans a little against the stand, but looks towards you two.
Hard.
And she goes, Buckets, have you ever had to worry about losing your house in Hamlet opening? Well, I don't, not really. Like I still go out and get stuff, but I've never been like a paycheck away from losing my house or anything like that. Have you ever felt unsafe in your homestead? Not really. Kind of like the last time those robot people attacked. It definitely feels more unsafe around here now, but in the past, no. About what percentage of the time would you say that you've had like electricity nowadays? And he goes, 70%. How about before you came to Hamlet opening? Like 2%? Okay. I release this witness.
All right, we have one more. We have a redirect.
Accepted.
Buckets, in the last week, how often have you had electricity?
Like 100%. It's been great.
Well, let's not overstate here. There have been a few outages. Give us an actual percentage. What percentage would you say you've had electricity?
At least 90. All the daylight hours I need.
Thank you, Buckets.
Ocean tags in. Buckets, I'd like to kind of expand on those questions that Frida asked a little bit about, right? Regarding specifically the amount of time that electricity has been present in Hamlet opening. Can you tell me when you first came to Hamlet opening, how often you had power?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. We definitely had it through most of the daylight hours.
And from your time in Hamlet opening, has that been consistent? Or has the amount of time that you've had power changed?
It has definitely been getting worse.
And when would you say things started getting worse?
Really, the whole time it's been getting steadily worse, but the last few months had been particularly terrible.
And does that coincide with about the same time Hickory's unfair pricings have gone into effect?
Yeah, it was about the same time.
So Hickory is not only charging you more, but he's providing less power to the town?
That's what it feels like, yeah.
Ocean looks at Book to see if he wants to tag in, raise his eyes.
I just hit him with the little finger guns. Like,
no further questions.
No second redirect over here. We can go ahead and move on to the next witness.
Your honors, as our next witness, we would like to call the esteemed gentleman Kibbles.
You hear a bunch of rumbling, and most of it's like, who the fuck is Kibbles?
Ocean leans over to Book real quick and says, Book, I have a question for you real quick before you go up on the stand there. Mm-hmm. What's with the voice?
Like when that time that we went into like Crandall's tower and like I did the accent.
Yeah, but everyone knows who you are, Book.
It just made me feel powerful.
So what's this voice doing?
And I need that energy right now, Ocean. I just need it right now.
Okay.
Do this.
All right,
I'm so
Ocean.
nervous, Ocean.
Okay, Book. Okay, if it's giving you power, I love the voice.
Let me tell you, Ocean, I feel powerful.
Get up there, champion. And he smacks him on the rump.
Fuck yeah. Book does a little hop when he gets smacked on the rump real hard. He pops up. Is Kibble at the stand?
Yes, he made it there in the time of your ridiculous conversation.
Kibbles, please state your name for the jury.
My name is Kibbles.
Okay. One of the judges, can you do that thing where you make him swear to not lie and shit? I mean stuff.
Yeah, I did it last time. Who else wants to do it? And there's kind of some shuffling, and then Maple's like, do you swear to hold true, not true, most not? And Kibbles kind of, yeah, yes.
Thank you, Kibbles. Kibbles, what was your role in Hamlet opening?
I was a dreamer.
More specifically, what services did you provide in exchange for batteries?
Well, me and my family didn't really use many batteries. We mostly powered things ourselves with the beautiful magic of propane.
Interesting.
I was a maybe propane wizard.
A propane wizard. Did you use this propane to generate electricity?
Yes, we had at least one functioning propane generator.
Would you say that was the main source of your family's power and income?
Absolutely.
Interesting. What is your main source of power and income now?
I don't really have power where I'm at. I mostly get by on the kindness of some of the people in Hamlet opening.
Kibbles, have you ever been forced to peddle for the exchange of goods and services?
I have not. I refuse to talk with Hickory Fleek or his men as much as possible.
Kibbles, tell us about that. Why do you refuse to speak with Hickory Fleek and his men?
They are directly responsible for the death of my son.
Now, we are going to strike that from the record as hearsay until we can prove it without a reasonable doubt. But I promise you, Kibbles,
He looks pretty mad.
We will prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, Kibbles, the day that your son died, what did you ask him to do?
I asked him to fill up just a couple tanks of propane down at the old propane refill spot at the edge of Subtropolis.
Has that propane refill spot ever ran out of propane in the past?
It had not. It had been a limitless bounty of that sweet, sweet gas.
And what did your son find when he got down there?
A non-functioning tank that was reading completely empty.
Interesting. What was his next action?
He stormed off to go give Hickory Fleek a piece of his mind.
Did you see your son before he stormed off? And after he saw the empty propane tank or source?
Yes, I saw him.
And you had a conversation with him, indicating what we just spoke about?
Yes, that is correct.
Have you seen your son since he stormed off?
No.
Never again?
Not even nothing, no part of him.
Well, Kibbles, I'm very sorry for the loss of your son. I have no further questions. Ocean, it's your witness.
All right. Ocean walks up to the stands. Kibbles, how did Hickory Fleek react to your new source of power that you were using in the town?
In my opinion, he was jealous of what we had. I think he did not want anything competing with his electric hookup.
Did you ever have any encounters with Hickory regarding your use of propane?
Not directly with Hickory, but with a lot of his men. They seemed to want to keep us down. They didn't want us to really share this. I had some suspicious things. I don't have any evidence, but some of our propane generators seemed to break when I wasn't expecting it. And then, of course, eventually, they imminently domained my entire residence.
Did they give a reason for taking your residence?
They said it was in a location that was necessary for some power line work or something like that.
And did they return any of the belongings inside your home, such as your source of propane, tools, and accessories?
No, they took everything.
A few days back, you went to that propane refill station. And what did you discover?
That it was fully functional. That it had not been broken this whole time. It had been tampered with instead to give a false reading and to block the gas. But we had been, for years now, we've been living on a supply of healthy, clean, burning propane.
That had been sabotaged.
Sabotaged.
And from your experience with Hickory Fleek's men constantly attempting to interfere with your propane source, who do you say the likely culprit is for tampering with your propane station?
Objection, speculation.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
You didn't even let me defend the objection.
You can try to.
Your Honor, this is well within my witness's scope. He has had multiple run-ins and encounters with Hickory, attempting to sabotage his plant's operation in the past.
The witness could speak on the accuracy as a propane expert / wizard. He could speak on the technical information, but I don't think it is fair for him to speculate on the intentions of other people. You can give me a sway someone roll if you want.
Hold on. So there could be consequences if we fail to sway someone is the only thing.
Yes.
So if we just accept the objection and try to reword the question in a way that it isn't speculation, that might be better than getting them to accept the speculation.
Very well. I stand down. I revoke the question. Ocean says, okay, I'm tagging in my good friend here. Smack. Tags in.
Kibbles, since the day your son disappeared, have you been able to retrieve propane for use to support your family?
No, not since it was sabotaged.
One more question, Kibbles. Since Ocean removed the ball bearing from the nozzle of your propane source, have you been able to use propane to support your family?
Well, my family's all dead, but I've been able to have propane again.
So sad. But I'm so sorry for your losses.
Kibbles, would you say that in the intervening time since your son's disappearance and 3 days ago when Ocean fixed or removed the tampering that was done to the propane source, would you say that you were completely unable to provide for yourself and run your business as you had previously been?
Absolutely.
Would you say that if the tampering of the propane source could be attributed to Hickory Fleek, that would represent behavior that would fall under the category of anti-competitive, meaning preventing you from being able to provide power?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Does sound really close to speculation, but I'll let it slide.
You're a witness. You're not allowed to make those kind of claims.
Buckets, I know this testimony must have been very difficult for you, so I appreciate you for having the bravery to come up here and to stand for what you believe in and for your son.
Thank you.
The prosecution rests.
Frida stands up and she goes, first, I'd like to say I'm very sorry, Kibbles, for the situation that you find yourself in. It seems like you were a very innovative member of our community, and those talents have not been used appropriately. And I hope now that you have access to that propane, things can really turn around for you. I just have a few questions for you. How many times have you talked to Hickory Fleek? Never directly. His men. It's all through his men. They come and talk to us. If you had to guess, well, that sounds like a start to a speculative question. I'll back off of that one.
I was going to object to this one as speculation, but because the answer is never, it's kind of hard for it to be speculation.
Do you have any confirmation that your son was killed? And he goes, I'm 100% sure that if he was not, he would have come back. But do you have any confirmation that he actually was killed? And more specifically, do you have any confirmation he was killed by Hickory or even any of his men?
Objection, speculation. The defendant obviously could not have such proof.
Sustained.
It is the role of this effort to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, let me.
The onus is not upon him to prove. I'm just kidding.
When you lost your house, who told you that you had to move out, and how did it happen? Well, it was Pistachio Jones came and kicked me out with a bunch of Hickory's men. Interesting. And I think final question, you said earlier that you've mostly been able to survive based on the kindness of the people in Hamlet opening. Are there any specific people that come to mind? Yeah, one of the judges here, Juniper, has always been particularly helpful to me, and even Maple has looked after some of my things before. What about an individual who actually works for Hickory Fleek, Mako?
Objection, leading the witness.
Okay, I'll rephrase. Are there any people who have worked for Hickory Fleek who have provided any sustainment to you since you've been in this more difficult state? And he goes, yeah, there have been a few, definitely. No further questions.
All right, I have one redirect.
You may redirect.
Gibbles, you mentioned that Pistachio Jones was the individual who seized your house and your belongings. Who does Pistachio Jones work for?
Hickory Fleek. He's his right-hand man.
Who does who does Pistachio Jones take orders from?
Hickory Fleek.
Have you ever seen Pistachio Jones disobey or do anything that was not by Hickory Fleek's
Objection,
design?
speculation.
Revoke.
Sustain. Oh, he beat me to it.
The defense rests.
No, you gotta get one last
Your Honor.
question in. You gotta get one last question in. You can't do that.
No, that was what I wanted. I just wanted to drop that little inkling of has Pistachio Jones ever done anything that wasn't Hickory Fleek's idea? Okay.
Ocean stands up and says, Your Honor, we would actually like to call Mako to the stand.
The camera pans and he's one of the people sitting in the jury section, but there's not actually a jury, so it doesn't matter. But he seems a little
It's
confused.
just extra seats that people are in.
And he comes down awkwardly off the edge of it and slides into the defendant chair. Captain Noodle says, Juniper, it's your turn. Mako, do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help me God, he says with a question mark. Mako goes, yes, absolutely.
Well, Mako, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself to the court?
Can't remember Mako's voice. I also don't know if he's ever talked. Yes, I'm Mako, and I am one of the line layers for Hickory Fleek.
How long have you been working with Hickory Fleek?
Since I've gotten here, really. I had some experience working electricity in the past, and I pitched that when I came into town, and I've been working ever since.
And is your role purely as a line layer for Hickory?
Pretty much. I can be a bit of like a handyman to help out with other small things, because we got a little lack of skilled labor in this town, but mostly it's being in charge of line laying.
What kind of small tasks has Hickory had you do?
Just fix random things, you know. I have even gone into like some minor plumbing, right? Like if there's a busted pipe, I can go work on that. Or if there's a light switch that's not working, I'll do that. So not just like industrial cabling type things.
Has Hickory Fleek ever asked you to break anything?
Gasps across the room.
I remind you, you are under oath.
Oh, yeah, he did it.
He gets real sweaty. Kind of. There are some times that like I'm supposed to disable something, right? Like if someone hasn't paid their taxes, I'm supposed to go cut something off. Things like that. Yeah.
What kind of things have you disabled, Mako?
Power hookups all the time. A lot for, he points at Book. That guy messed with his power a lot. We've removed tires from vehicles before. Stuff like that.
Mako, did Hickory Fleek ask you to disable Kibble's propane hookup?
Yes. Yeah.
When that was
I think so.
and that was a direct order from Hickory?
No, I don't talk directly to Hickory much.
But it was an order from his leadership.
Yes. It was definitely from him. Yeah.
And did he give you a reason why?
No, I didn't ask many questions about it. I just assumed they didn't pay their taxes or something. That is a weird one though, because it was all the way in Subtropolis. So I did feel like something was up.
And as far as you're aware, Subtropolis isn't within Hamlet Opening's jurisdiction, is it?
Yeah. I don't know what jurisdiction Subtropolis is in now. Like we kind of break shit in there all the time. But yeah.
Have you ever had any interactions with Kibbles?
Yeah. I definitely feel bad about the situation he's in. And I've gotten him some drop offs from our lovely judge here, Captain Noodles. He gives me a discount to go bring it over to Kibble sometimes.
Ocean looks back and sees Books giving him like this kind of vibe. It's like, Your Honor, I'd like to tag in with my partner here
We high five.
to finish off the witness.
We high five.
Finish him.
Mako, would you consider securing propane from a source in Subtropolis a form of scavenging?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Would you say that sabotaging that source of propane would eliminate that line of scavenging?
Yeah, it could. But like it could also be a reclamation of something. Like it was still there, right? Or it could still be used if we needed it for the town. Like it's like a strategic reserve, you know, type thing. It wasn't destroyed. Like I wouldn't like on it, like just to be upfront, everyone. Like I feel bad about the situation and everything. But like if Hickory had told me to go like blow it up, I would have never done that. I just basically disabled it.
I understand.
It's like taking a wheel off a car so someone can't drive when they park in front of the fire hydrant.
So, Mako, let's pull on that thread a little further. If you destroy someone's source of propane, not destroy it in the terms of make it so that it can never be used again, but make it so that they can't use it again, or take the tire off of their car and they cannot afford another tire, how would that person provide for themselves in this community?
It'd be harder, definitely.
Would you say that it's likely they would have to pedal for some of their need?
Yeah, it'd be harder for them to kind of help themselves, so they'd probably have to take more from the town, which normally in those cases you pedal it.
Since individuals don't get paid in batteries for pedaling, would you also say that would make it harder for them to ever recover from these setbacks?
Yeah, absolutely. Pedaling takes a lot of time, right? It doesn't give much power, and it's a big effort.
And
so they're not out scrounging around while they're pedaling.
And since they don't get any batteries, they certainly can't elevate themselves by replacing that tire or fixing that source of propane. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Interesting. After you destroyed the propane...
Disabled.
After you my apologies. After you disabled the propane, why did you help Kibbles?
Well, I think like as a society, we got to help each other, right? And he was in a rough spot. So I thought I could give a little of the extra I had to him.
Did you feel guilty for taking away his only known source of income?
It sounds like something that should be objected to, but I don't think it's my fault, so I don't feel guilty. But I feel bad for him.
Whose fault do you think it is?
Well, I don't know all the background information, but it could be anyone's responsibility, right? It could have been Kibbles didn't pay a tax he was supposed to. It could have been Kibbles' son broke some rule that I don't know about. I'm just following what was asked of me. I was just told to go disable it, so I did it.
Were you there when Kibbles' home was eminently domained away from his possession?
No, I was not involved in that decision.
Did you see Kibbles' son the day that you disabled the propane source?
I don't believe I did. If I do not recall him.
Are there individuals under Hickory's employ that do not have as scrupulous of morals as yourself?
Objection, speculation.
Fair enough. Withdrawn. Mako, have you ever seen an employee of Hickory Fleek kill someone under his orders? Or even just maim someone?
It can be violent out there. I don't think I've ever seen Hickory directly order the execution of someone before. I saw him shoot that guy in the town square, but you did too.
I did. But Mako, are you saying that you've never seen one of Hickory's men hurt one of the townsfolk of Hamlet Opening?
I've seen people get roughed up some, definitely, but no executions.
Have you seen maybe broken kneecaps?
Yeah, that level of fucked up. Yeah.
Can you recall why someone's kneecaps might have gotten broken?
Usually something like acting a fool. It would be the reason, but yeah, breaking some laws, talking back, those sorts of things.
If Hickory Fleek had asked you to blow up the propane tank instead of blocking it off, and you had refused, do you think your kneecaps would have gotten broken?
Objection, speculation.
Withdrawn, Your Honor. Mako, have you ever disobeyed orders that came from Hickory Fleek?
I have maybe not completed them to the fullest.
Have you ever openly defied orders from Hickory Fleek?
No.
Did you always agree with what you were asked to do?
No, it's just a job.
Why didn't you voice those concerns?
I just feel like I normally don't have all the information I would need to know for sure. I may feel a little uneasy about something, but I don't know everything, so that's fine.
Were you ever afraid of retaliation?
Not directly, but obviously there's the socioeconomic pressure of me wanting to keep having my job.
So that you don't have to pedal it off, per se.
Yeah, or leave Hamlet Opening.
Well, thank you for your testimony, Mako. I have no further questions.
Any last minute tag-ins?
No tag-ins, Your Honor.
Okay, to the defense. Frida stands up. Hey, Mako. We've known each other for a long time. It's funny seeing you in this sort of situation. But I just have a couple questions for you. How often does Hickory Fleek directly give you the orders that you follow? Almost never. It usually comes through other people. Okay. You said that you were worried about the socioeconomic pressures involved with your job and losing it and having to leave Hamlet Opening. Why are you worried about having to leave Hamlet Opening? That's kind of a weird question, just because it's nice here. You got a nice stable job. Do you feel safe at Hamlet Opening? Yeah. And you have a steady source of income that you feel like you're able to kind of have a nice homestead that you feel protected and secure, and you're even able to grow your wealth. Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, no further questions.
I'd like to redirect. Have you been in Hamlet Opening for over a decade, Mako?
Not quite, but it's coming up on that.
Okay. Over the course of that decade, has Pistachio Jones mainly been the source of your orders?
Yes. Predominantly.
Interesting. Over the course of that decade, has Pistachio Jones always been the direct underling of Hickory Fleek?
Yeah, he's kind of his right-hand man.
Has Pistachio Jones ever been fired or disciplined for doing something that Hickory did not want him to do?
They have gotten in large one-sided disagreements before, but not like fired. There's been certainly some times Hickory has been yelling at Pistachio. You can hear it throughout the courthouse. Don't think I'm speaking out of turn here to say that. But
And what was Hickory yelling at Pistachio about?
oh, just random things, if he was just upset about something. I don't know the details. It was just loud yelling.
Well, Mako, this loud yelling, did it ever have to do with any of the things that you were asked to do?
I don't think so.
So by implicit consent, would you say that Hickory therefore approved of all the things that you were asked to do, even if it was not by his hand?
Objection, speculation.
I don't think it's unreasonable to say that somebody who'd been the direct superior of Pistachio Jones for the last decade would have some modicum of power over his ability to continue enacting their will.
The witness has no special knowledge of the relationship between Hickory and Pistachio, and certainly not any of their internal motives.
But certainly if Hickory Fleek was unhappy with Pistachio Jones' performance, he would remove him from his position.
Objection to the objection speculation.
Mako, have you ever seen someone be fired for doing a bad job?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Pistachio Jones be fired for doing a bad job?
Nope.
The defense rests. Or the fucking the prosecution rests.
Got him. She turns around and fist pumps because tricked him.
Damn.
Your Honor, we'd like to submit into evidence the mountain of batteries that we found laying in the courthouse, most of which, half of which could hold a charge. And we would also like to submit into evidence the contents of Kibble's eminently domained home.
Oh.
It all comes in the form of red wagons, by the way. It's all toy red wagons. It's just like 50 wagons of batteries and then 100 wagons of things from Kibble's house.
Vesuvius pulls those in down the center aisle of the courtyard, leading the front of his RC car, whining along, fighting the weight of all of these massive things. And it circles around, and you see a whole slew of different batteries. And then from Kibble's house, it seems like a lot of very useful things. It's a lot of tools and equipment and dry rations and stuff like that.
Thank you, Vesuvius.
I feel like you're making fun of my voice, so I've been trying to be quiet today.
No, I felt powerful when I talked like this, so it's not a mock at all. It's actually, if anything, it's a bit of a emulation in because I admire your way of speaking. Okay, he's gone, I guess. Your Honor, we would like to call our final witness, Pistachio Jones.
The back doors open up and you see Pistachio with his neck brace and his jowl shoved up into his eyebrows start hobbling down the middle of the aisle with a cane, struggling, and he ends up getting to the witness desk and he sits down and makes a lot of noises. Collapses down. Do you swear to tell the whole truth? Nothing but the truth, something of the truth. Help us all.
Pistachio, can you state your name for the court?
My name is Pistachio Jones.
Pistachio, do you recognize the wagons full of batteries?
Yes, those look like a variety of batteries.
Were these the same batteries that were held in a safe inside the courthouse?
They look like them.
Pistachio, do you also recognize the wagons containing the goods that were found inside of Kibble's old home?
Yes, these look like the items that Hickory Fleek had stored in there as some sort of safe house for trade.
Pistachio, were these goods found by Hickory?
Could you clarify the question?
Did Hickory go out into Subtropolis to collect these goods himself?
Oh, no, he doesn't go out into Subtropolis.
Were these goods taken in the form of taxes from the hardworking men and women of this community?
Probably most of them.
Interesting. Pistachio, have you seen Hickory deliver things into this house? Or order them be placed in the house?
Yes, he's given direct orders to place things here. Ocean, can you give me a read a sit roll?
Okay.
We have to roll during this game.
First roll. Ooh, that's a good one, too. That's a 10.
10. I thought you got a 2 total. Don't lose your spot, Brady. I know you're in the middle of something.
I have to write stuff down now. Fucking hate you.
Got him. I saw you getting momentum and couldn't have that happen. Ask me 3 questions. Yeah.
I'm going to go with first, who's in control here to kind of give us a good glimpse of how the courtroom's looking. Who or what represents the best opportunity for me to expose Hickory Fleek via Pistachio Jones' testimony? And what should I be on the lookout for?
I was going to say we got to do a lookout one.
For who's in control here, for the last several minutes of this, Frida has looked very calm and collected. But as you look over right now, she is whispering into Hickory's ear pretty abruptly, and they're both like talking back and forth, and they definitely seem a little surprised.
Hell yeah.
So I think that it also includes what should I be on the lookout for, is them talking right now. From the judge's perspective, for who's in control here, it seems like Juniper and Maple have been very quiet, but you notice that they are kind of sharing notes with each other. It seems like they're writing down a lot as you guys go along, and they're kind of passing it back and forth, while Captain Noodles is not involved in that at all, and he's just stared focused at whoever's talking at the time.
Okay.
For the best opportunity to expose Hickory Fleek, right now it seems like there's been very little stuff that has directly implicated him. You feel that you may have to get him on the stand to be able to tie some of the things together.
Jacob, do we need to reevaluate anything based on the, like, why would Stu make you read a situation right now is what I'm trying to figure out.
I think he just wants us to roll a dice. Just roll dice while
Or just so that we saw that Hickory and Frida were a little unsettled.
Ocean looks at Book and says, I'll let you take the lead on this one. And he turns to him and says, but look, here's some stuff I noticed. And I explain the stuff I heard on the in that read a situation so you can act on those as well.
Pistachio, did Hickory ever ask or request to retrieve things out of the house? Or were things only put into the house?
We would use things from within the house for some external trade.
Interesting. So what was Hickory doing with these taxed items besides putting them in this house, giving them to other communities?
I guess a very optimistic way of looking at it would be giving them to other communities in exchange for goods and services.
What kind of goods would Hickory get back in exchange for these taxed items?
All the stuff you see here.
Can you elaborate?
That wagon over there. Not that wagon, that one's batteries. That one right there.
What about the batteries themselves?
Oh, didn't get many batteries from external sources.
Pistachio, then where did all these batteries come from?
I think these are predominantly through taxes from the people of Hamlet Opening.
Well, where did they get the batteries?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like circulation of resources. I think it's just kind of as we find them, as they come up, they more rotate towards like a token-based economy type thing. So I guess technically some trouble.
Interesting.
Or any other places.
Why did batteries become the tokens that we used for trade?
I am not sure of that. I don't know if it was like that since before I got here even. So I don't know what the initiating event for that was.
When you got here, did Hickory already have a stockpile of batteries?
He already had a good amount of them. Yeah.
Did Hickory ever put energy into those batteries?
Sometimes for like car batteries and things like that, but in general, no. There was just a token representing some amount of money.
Interesting. In our community where power is such a limited resource, do you think it would have been helpful to have powered up batteries that were in
I'm
Hickory's?
not an electrician, scientist, or anything like that, but it seems like it would be good.
Did you ever run out of power? Let's say a battery powered flashlight whose batteries no longer work?
Yeah, but I always had more batteries to just put in it, pop right in.
Where did you get those batteries?
Or they're just laying around the courthouse.
Did you ever
Store
find
stuff.
your own batteries?
From like some trouble?
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
Oh, God.
Would you say that you got most of your batteries by taxing them from the people of Hamlet Opening?
Oh, yeah. That's probably where they directly come from.
Have you ever taken a battery that someone was using to currently power something? In the form of taxes, of course.
I don't think we've like directly ripped it out of a working thing, but it's mostly just an exchange of cash.
Interesting. Mako just mentioned disabling cars. Mako's never taken a car battery out of a car?
No, I think the normal way we disable them is by removing tires. But
Interesting. Do you think it'd be more likely that someone would surrender their car battery if the car no longer had tires?
yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Do you think that you ever received a battery from a car whose tires were slashed under your orders?
I cannot confirm if that's happened or not.
Interesting. Pistachio, of the items that Hickory Fleek got in exchange for hard-earned taxes, what did Hickory do with them?
It looked like he mostly just stockpiled them up in this place and there are all these wagons here. Obviously, he did some work maintaining the infrastructure of the town, but...
So most of our taxes were not reinvested into our community?
No, it looks like that's not the case.
Do you think that made life more difficult for the people of Hamlet Opening?
Yes.
Do you think that those taxes would have been better spent in the hands of the people who originally earned them?
Yes, absolutely. I'm more of a trickle-up economicist.
I love that for you. Let me change tack for a moment here. Speaking of the items in Kibble's house, the house that these items were stored in, Kibble's house, did you seize this house from Kibble's? Kibble's house? The house from Kibble's?
Yes. I'm not directly, right? I don't do a lot of hands-on stuff, but yeah, I was there with the team. I kicked them all out.
Did you also order Mako to disable the propane?
Yes.
And was Hickory aware of these orders?
Yes, I don't remember exactly the order of things, but I always do what Hickory wants.
Did Hickory ever object to those orders?
I can't remember those specifically, but usually not. Usually our disagreements aren't on that front.
By giving you continual and increasing power in this community, would you say that Hickory implicitly approved of most of the choices you made?
Yeah, I think I was more of a vehicle of Hickory's ideas.
So you would say that it was Hickory's idea to seize the house from Kibble's?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just doing what Hickory wants or what he says.
And it was also Hickory's idea to disable the propane?
Yes.
What was Hickory's idea for how to deal with Kibble's son?
I cannot remember exactly what happened that day, but I believe he wanted him out of the way.
Pistachio, need I remind you that the terms of your plea bargain were that you would disclose this information in this hearing?
I was not around when it happened, but I know Kibble's son did go to see him, and I never saw him again. He went right into Hickory's chambers. I yelled, "Hey, stop there." And Hickory said, "Oh no, it's fine." And then the door closed and I never saw Kibble's son again.
So you can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that Kibble's son did reach Hickory Fleek?
Affirmative.
Did you hear any loud noises during their exchange?
There was some yelling, but I didn't hear anything after a while.
Did Kibble's son ever leave the room, to your knowledge?
I never saw Kibble's son leave the room.
Has anyone else ever disappeared under Hickory Fleek's watch?
Your fucking parents.
Has anyone disappeared directly from his office in such a manner?
Oh, no, don't think so.
Has Hickory ever asked you to kill someone?
Yeah.
Has Hickory ever asked you to kill a citizen of Hamlet Opening?
It depends on what you call a citizen.
Please answer the question, Pistachio.
Oh, that's almost worse, that answer.
I don't think any official citizens of Hamlet Opening have been killed by any of our men.
What about residents of Hamlet Opening?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sorry. Where were these individuals buried or disposed of?
I believe they were predominantly yeeted into Metropolis off the person.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of the term chum in the waters?
Yeah, like when your friend falls in the pool.
No.
Then no, I haven't.
Your Honors, may I speak to this term for the purpose of making a point?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with chum.
Chum in the waters, Pistachio, is where you put raw meat into the place where you are fishing to attract more fish to make it easier for you to catch fish. Do you think that disposing of bodies on the edge of Hamlet Opening and on the edge of Subtropolis made it more likely for dangerous creatures to approach the borders of our town?
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about it that way, but now that you say it, yeah, definitely.
Have you ever encountered the melty cheese monster in the sewers that resides directly outside of our town?
I have not. I've heard about him from you.
Have you heard about him from anyone else?
Me and Hickory discussed it briefly, but no, only eyewitness from you too.
And what was the results of your discussion with Hickory about the monster of cheese in the sewer?
Well, it was mostly that we had to keep an eye out on your little RC car friend there because you told him that he was actually secretly a cheese monster.
I was maybe wrong about the the diagnosis, but the warning was fair. Do you remember what happened to my friend who is now an RC car?
Yes.
What happened to him?
His torso exploded.
Do you remember who initiated that explosion?
I assume his torso.
No. Pistachio, are you familiar with the silent or the yellow Humvee individuals?
Yes, we are aware of them.
Had you taken any actions to protect Hamlet Opening from such individuals?
Mostly through trying to keep our distances and make sure they are satiated. Yeah, not causing any issues, keeping our heads down.
When Ocean and I approached you regarding warning you that a potential invasion was taking place, did you take any steps to thwart such an invasion?
When you came and told us that there was potentially a cheese monster inside of that there RC car.
We told you that there were potential doppelgangers in the community. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you try to identify any such doppelgangers?
We were remaining cognizant of it.
Did you increase watches?
Internally, yes. We kept a much closer eye on several of our
What does internally mean?
individual-
Does that mean in the courthouse only?
our men. Yeah.
Interesting. But not increasing the number of patrols along the border of Subtropolis and Hamlet.
No.
And remind me, where do the yellow Humvee individuals live?
Some trouble.
Thank you. I have one final line of questions, Pistachio. Why did Hickory want batteries so bad?
I think that he had heard from your mother that there was a special secret battery that could get everyone to safety. And I think he was honestly just looking for that.
He was looking for that specific battery.
Yep. The magic surface battery.
And when you say get everyone to safety, who's every?
Oh, I think he only cared about it for himself. Yeah.
So when you say get everyone to safety, you mean get Hickory Fleek to safety.
I contend he would have abandoned the town in a second as soon as he got that battery.
Pistachio, can you speak to the number of individuals that the resources in Kibble's old house could sustain for, let's say for 6 months?
Probably three-ish.
3-ish people. So, Pistachio, if we were ever to try to move the entirety of Hamlet Opening, that horde would not be sufficient.
No, absolutely not.
Pistachio, did Hickory ever mention to you wanting to try to escape and go to the surface?
No, I think he was trying to keep it on really hidden within his heart.
Well, if you were his right-hand man, who else could he possibly want to take with him? Who would be, one of his 3 people?
I feel like it would have had to be me, but maybe he's just holding it till it was more likely, or maybe he didn't want to bring anyone.
Well, certainly he would at least have told his daughter.
Maybe.
And I look at Frida, and I want to see if she was surprised about learning that he was planning on leaving.
Give me a Rita person roll.
Is that still sharp?
Yes.
Hot tamales. That's a 12, ladies and gentlemen.
You're so sharp.
I want to know, what are you feeling and how can I tell?
You can tell that she does not believe Pistachio Jones at all. She doesn't even look, I wouldn't say she looks worried. I'd say she looks confused.
So, but based off that, I can tell pretty confidently she did not know about Hickory's plan to escape.
No. Yes, you don't think so.
How is she vulnerable to me and how can I tell?
You think, especially with the conversation she had at the beginning that Ocean pointed out and where she's at now, she is definitely thrown off by Pistachio Jones's testimony in particular. This seems to be nothing that she was expecting in general.
Okay. And what is she thinking of doing? And how can I tell?
I'll give you a little extra with, you see she's still talking hurriedly in panicked lawyer mode with Hickory Fleek. And you see Hickory looks like angry at Pistachio. He's like staring right towards him, even though he's talking to Frida. And you think that they're probably going to go pretty hard against Pistachio.
Okay. Excellent. I love that for both Pistachio because he deserves it and for us. Pistachio, you said that you think that Hickory was stockpiling resources to escape to the surface. Is that correct?
Affirmative.
You also said that Hickory only ever removed items from that stockpile to trade with other communities. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we also established that that stockpile was exclusively made up of items that the hardworking individuals of this community scavenge. Is that also correct?
Mostly exclusively. It could be some things that also came through trade, but yeah.
By that logic, is it safe to say that Hickory was only ever concerned about providing for himself?
I think that's fair.
Book looks at Ocean Because that was a little too easy.
Too easy. Mm-hmm.
That was a little too easy. So Book's gonna... Pistachio. Pistachio, do you have any written records of Hickory's trade with outside communities?
Yeah, we have many bills of material associated with those trades where we track what goes in, what goes out.
Is Hickory's signature on every single one of those?
No.
Is Hickory's signature on any of them?
Don't think so.
What do you mean?
I'm normally the one who signs them.
Okay. How did you get your orders from Hickory?
Usually direct word of mouth.
You have no written records of any orders coming from Hickory to yourself?
Not related to this matter. No, I do have some other ones, but I don't think it's germane to the investor bourbon.
Pistachio, did Hickory have a key to Kibble's house?
I assume so.
Do you have a key to Kibble's house?
I have keys to every house. Oh shit, I don't know if I'm supposed to say.
That's fucking terrifying.
But yeah, I do.
I just realized I've completely lost my southern accent. That's fine. Pistachio, if you were the individual who arrested the house from Kibble's, you would presumably have knowledge of where all of those keys went. All of the keys that went into Kibble's house.
Yeah, I confiscated the key from his family.
Did you make a copy for Hickory?
I did not, but he could have easily made a copy. I just keep my keys at the courthouse.
Pistachio, you never gave Hickory a key?
No, he didn't.
Has Hickory ever been in that house?
I think he had to have been to be able to put all this sort of stuff here.
Well, it sounds like maybe you put all that stuff there. If your signature's on all of the trade records and you're the one who had the only key to get into the house.
I'm not on trial here, I think, maybe. But
you're not, but we are trying to identify Hickory's involvement.
Yeah. I had access at all times, and I have most knowledge of the trade that occurred.
And you have
but that's my job, right? I'm supposed to be
Again, you have the only key into Kibble's house?
That I know of.
And you never personally let Hickory in?
No. Hickory honestly doesn't leave the courthouse too much.
Do you have any recordings of your conversations with Hickory?
I don't. I don't know if Hickory does.
Book is, I think Book's getting, like, you can tell Book is really, really angry right now. I would like to...
Badger the witness.
I would like to use stern presence.
Okay.
And I want to know if Pistachio has or is intentionally telling lies right now.
I'll allow it. I think this can count as a situation, but you have to dramatically make it a different situation.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
I mean, no matter what afterwards. But yeah, give me the roll.
Oh, I'll just do it. Okay, after. That's 2 5s plus, oh shit, -1 hard. So that's a 9, which means I get to choose one. And the one that I want is, if anyone here has intentionally told lies, betrayed trust, or sown confusion, they can't meet your eyes. That's anyone here. So that's Pistachio Jones or anyone else.
But you're looking at Pistachio Jones, yeah.
Hickory Fleek.
Yeah.
And Frida.
How do you change the situation? What do you do to ramp this up to something different?
Pistachio Jones, under oath, were you acting under Hickory's orders when you seized Kibble's house, when you disabled the propane, and when you killed his son?
You see him retreat back into his turtle shell of a neck with this neck brace. So his eyebrows curl over the top of his face. And he goes, everything I do is because of what Hickory wants. The directions he gives me, the things he tells me to go for.
How did you kill Kibble's son, Pistachio?
I didn't kill Kibble's son. I didn't do it.
Stop lying.
What? I'm not on trial here.
You're under oath and you are at the stand. Answer the question, Pistachio. What happened to Kibble's son?
I think Hickory made him disappear.
So, Stu, when he avoided my eyes, like, did I get a sense of which part he was lying about?
You think he's lying about a lot of it, but yeah. I think everything you've specifically said after that, you think he's lying about at some level.
Okay. So both the house, the propane, and the...
Yeah, you think he's been the primary person who has access to the house. It's likely Hickory Fleek hasn't been there, and he was definitely the closest involved to the whole propane Kibbles' son disappearing type thing.
Pistachio, when Kibbles' son got to you, you said you asked him not to go into Hickory's office. Did you try to stop him from going in?
I thought it was dangerous, yeah.
Did you check him for weapons at least?
No, it looked like he didn't have weapons.
Oh, so you can tell at a glance. Do I have a weapon on me right now?
Yes.
What weapons do I have on me?
Knife, fancy pistol. That cane's actually a sword.
Did you know
Damn, he's good.
This? And I take out my other gun.
He gasps. No, I've never seen that before in my life.
Pistachio, you know as well as I that you don't let anyone within 10 feet of Hickory without giving them a thorough pat down, not a visual one. How did Kibbles' son get past you then?
He just kept plowing through. I was all the way back behind that little square, the bailiff counter, and he just kept going up to the front of the courthouse, and I couldn't squeeze my way out quick enough.
Stu, I want to know how I can get Pistachio to tell the truth. Can I read him?
Yeah, you can.
That's a 6 and a 1, which is a 7 plus 3 is a 10. Is Pistachio telling the truth about Kibbles talking to Hickory?
No, he's definitely withholding something.
Okay. How is he vulnerable to me?
You definitely have him in a situation where he feels like he's on trial now, as he said multiple times. He's not the one on trial here. So he is very uncomfortable right now. So if you keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. How can I get him to tell the truth? That's my final question.
I think he'll only tell the truth if he feels like it is beneficial to him.
It's a lying sack of shit.
So if you would be able to convince him that what he's saying is going to help out in any way to him, like,
oh God, I'm not going to like this though. I'm going to have to sell my soul for this, aren't I, Stu? Pistachio. Pistachio, as we've established, you are Hickory's right-hand man, correct? Has Hickory ever threatened to fire you?
No, we have some small disagreements here and there.
Of course. But by extension, is it fair to say that Hickory therefore approves of your service for him
yes,
by the fact that he continues to keep you in his service?
Yeah, no, we are like two peas in a pod.
And further, is Hickory aware of all of the things you've done in service of him?
Yeah, I give regular status reports.
Are you truthful in those status reports?
Absolutely.
So Hickory knew about seizing Kibble's house.
Yes, he knows about all of the searches and seizures that we perform.
And he also knows about all the things you put into Kibble's house.
Yes.
Does Hickory also know about the trade that you performed with other communities?
Yes.
And Hickory signed off on all of these activities?
Not literally.
Verbally. Pistachio, I think it's fair to say then that everything you've done has been under the implicit approval of Hickory Fleek, don't you?
I agree.
With that in mind, Pistachio, can you tell us a little bit more about how you handled the situation with Kibble's son? Understanding that, of course, Hickory knew about it and therefore approved of those actions. Let's say it this way. You can delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility. Therefore, Hickory is responsible for Kibble's son, regardless of how he met his fate.
Give me a sway someone roll. It's going to be hard.
Can my +1 still apply here, you think?
Yeah.
I got a 7. Now, does Ocean get is Ocean going to do a help?
Okay. Yeah, I'll help.
If you want to, but there's risk. How are you going to help?
So the whole time Book's been having this commentary with Pistachio, Ocean has been giving him the death glare. The moment he starts like going off and where it seems like he's lying, Ocean's just glaring at Pistachio in an attempt to remind him of the deal.
And who broke his back.
Yeah, as a reminder of you only get immunity if you cooperate. Just staring him down. He adjusts the neck, the area the neck brace is on his body to mimic the who put him in the brace. Okay. That is I think I have +3 with you right now. I do. So that is a 10.
Nice.
We roll over back to +1. Yep. They get to ask +1 question or choose +1 option. They get +1 to their roll or another benefit that you agree plus harm, psi, whatever, but that's not relevant here.
No, another benefit is they get +1 harm, armor, psi, or another, and then another. The last thing is another benefit as you agree. So we could say that the benefit is that that Pistachio Jones fucking blurts out everything. Oh, actually, can you, can I take +1 forward?
Yeah, I'd allow.
Okay. I have a plan then. I'll take +1 forward if that's okay with you, Jacob.
It's whatever you think is going to help you the most here.
I got a 7 on the reason with him. I'm going to walk up to Pistachio and I'm going to intentionally block out his vision of everyone behind me. You know what I mean? I'm going to stand kind of imposingly in front of him. I'm going to make sure he's looking at me and only me. And I'm going to say, listen, Pistachio, no one thinks you're a bad guy. You were just following orders, right? But unless you tell us what those orders were, we can't bring the people who were responsible to justice.
That's
And I would like
pretty
to roll
fucking good.
compassionate presence.
I think that's amazing.
I'll let you, but not with a +1. This will be the benefit instead of.
Okay, that's fine. Ooh, okay. Compassionate presence is plus. Cool. So that's 6 plus 3 is 9, which means I get 1. I want to know if Pistachio Jones is ashamed of something he's done. And if he is, he blurts it out to me.
His head goes out further and he talks both loud and quietly at the same time, like right in your face. And he goes, listen here, book. Yes, I was the one in charge of all of the kind of sneaking around, trading with other things. I had to build up my own little fiefdom there. And yes, that kid did figure out that what we were storing there was going to blab everything. So I had to end it. But if you turn on me now, if you turn this into a trial against me, you're never bringing Hickory down. You need what I'm saying to be able to bring him down. The second you throw any doubt into the things I've said, it just seems like you guys were lying. Seems like you guys were collaborating with someone who helped to get him.
Pistachio.
So make a good choice. And then he leans back.
Hey, Pistachio. I want you to know something. Just because you're guilty doesn't mean Hickory's innocent.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Oops, All Apocalypses. This is pretty much last call for any questions you would like us to ask for our Oops, All Apocalypse episode coming up. Anything specific to episodes 40 through 60 is great, or just anything related to any of us, how the podcast works, anything like that. We're happy to answer anything as we recap those last 20 episodes. The music and editing was performed by Stu Masterson. Brady McDonough makes the art and the logo you see in your podcatcher. And Jacob always does cherry bombs and Foursquare, even when we say, no cherry bombs, Jacob. Please stop that. Love you, bye.
Stu, how come we can't see you?
I'm not wearing clothes.
Right in my mouth. Yum, yum, yum. Boing.
I can't wait to edit your last 3 sentences to make you sound like a pervert, ending with boing. Sorry, Brady.